Why do a lot of older expats go broke after they travel or emigrate to another country? Do they all just fall prey to the girls? What if I tell you that girls is just one in total five big reasons that get men broke here in Asian countries, but also worldwide? Hey guys, I'm Götz from Cebu City again, here in the Philippines, and in today's video I like to shed a light which 5 dangers to avoid, and that way hopefully not to go broke when you embark on a late life adventure. First reason, you might have guessed it already, is about the girls. Yes, you could say that everything revolves around them. The fancy girly bars and the many erotic massages are a deadly combination for any man's wallet. So if you've never visited an Asian entertainment district for men, such as a walking street here in Angeles in the Philippines, or in Bangkok in Pattaya, or maybe even in Amsterdam if you ever travel to Europe, then you just don't know how overwhelming the selection of women is there. It's so big that it's hard to keep track. There are countless options and you can even switch between the ladies, morally questionable, but tempting. Even older or less attractive men have a huge selection of women here. It's seductive and not only leads the body but also the wallet into temptation, which quickly empties out. So guys, you have the opportunity to quickly hook up with a woman. That often happens in Asia. You can even move in with her, especially in poorer countries like in Asia, if you want to. But don't be fooled, you will only be her dream man if you have a thicker wallet. Especially in these jobs, and in particular in Asian countries, it is customary and, well, part of the unconsciously concluded agreement that you financially support the woman. And once you have financially supported her, she will certainly support her family in return. And the next problem will be, if you're not able to say no, you'll quickly go broke. Because every time you're asked for money, your wallet will open up. If you keep saying yes, it will only get harder to say no, and then it will also be harder to say goodbye. So be careful with your money, otherwise the dream will be over faster than you can say Asia. But let's get back to temptation. Here in the Philippines, and actually everywhere in the world, you can get these special happy ending massages. Also, even normal massages are fantastic. But it's much cheaper here than in places like Las Vegas or Amsterdam. For about $10 to $20, you can get a 2-hour massage here. When you consider that, compared in Germany, a 1-hour massage costs $50. It's insane. But the offer, especially in poorer countries, is so huge that you can quickly be tempted to take advantage of the ladies. However, this can put a huge strain on your wallet. Getting to the second reason, the lazy lifestyle. It's just too tempting to lie on the beach all day and do nothing, especially when it's so hot. But that can also lead to a big problem. You tend to adapt to the circumstances and take everything very easy. That's the beauty of Asia. You can really relax and go with the flow here. But if you're constantly lazy and doing nothing on the beach, it can quickly become boring. And if you have a girlfriend in tow, it becomes even more difficult, because your girlfriend also wants to be entertained, and that costs money again. And if you want to enjoy the vibrant life in Asia, you have to be willing to spend money. Life happens on the streets, not like at home where you can cook and watch TV. Here you go out to feel alive. When you're thirsty, you go into a bar and enjoy a drink. Instead of cooking, you go to a food court or street restaurants to eat. But the problem is that all these expenses can heavily weigh on your wallet over time. Even if you're only spending $3 or $5 or $6 for 2 or maybe 3 people, if you do it 3 times a day, it quickly adds up to $50 per day. Just chilling out and not doing much can make you lazy and not motivated to set new goals for yourself, whether that's in your career or personal life. Instead, you'd rather enjoy the sweet life of doing nothing and getting distracted by all the amazing things Asia has to offer. That might work for a holiday, but in the long run, it leads to an unhealthy lifestyle that can negatively impact your future. It's important to strike a healthy balance between relaxation and daily work, and also have the drive to keep growing and developing both personally and professionally. It's important to realize that lazy drifting through life is not sustainable anywhere in the world, and eventually one must return to reality. It's important to find a balance between daily work and leisure to be successful in the long run. It's also important to be aware that the joys and freedoms one enjoys in Asia or other countries often come with a high price tag, and eventually one will have to pay for them. It's always important to set goals in life and have a clear idea of what one wants to achieve in life. This is the only way to live a fulfilling and happy life, regardless of where one is in the world. The third reason is about money smarts. It's important to have some financial skills and a solid plan for your spendings, otherwise you'll end up broke. A lot of guys who go to Asia don't really know how to handle their money, or they don't have any financial background. If you couldn't keep your finances in check back home, how are you gonna do it overseas? You'll end up broke no matter where you go in the world, including Asia. I met an Australian guy named Logan years ago. He was also in his 50s and told me his story in Ayala Mall here in Cebu. Like many older expats, he had inherited a pretty big sum of money, including a house and a plot of land. He sold all that for about $500,000 and decided to move to the Philippines. Soon after arriving, he met a nice girlfriend, of course in a bar, and fell in love with her. They quickly moved in together, and soon enough his girlfriend convinced him that only a condo would be good enough for them to live in. Trusting and in love, Logan bought the condo under his girlfriend's name, and that was a big chunk of his money gone. Not to mention that his girlfriend asked for support for her family, and since they had nothing else to do, they traveled and went shopping a lot. Just to give you an idea, this guy managed to blow through $200,000 in just 3 years. And of course it didn't stop there. It continued until one day he realized that only $20,000 of his original $500,000 were left. Then he had the usual arguments with his wife at the time, who wasn't too happy about being broke. And in the end, he didn't get anything out of that relationship. I haven't had contact with him since then, but I do know he tried to somehow make ends meet in the Philippines with the remaining $20,000. But will that work out? It's always shocking how these people only wake up when it's already too late. I always wonder if some people just don't have the click moment when half their money is gone after only 2 years. I lived off my savings in the Philippines for 8 years. Then suddenly COVID hit us and my security in stocks and crypto was only worth half overnight. So I had to think about how to move forward and ended up finding a job and starting my YouTube channel, which is slowly starting to make money. Now I have to work again to live. If only I had seen this coming 10 years ago. You see, you cannot plan for the future, so your life isn't quite what you dreamed it would be. You're now over 50 or even 60 and still alone or single again. You fondly remember your youth, the wild times with girls, the fun and carefree life. You want to experience it all again in your old age. But now in the land of your dreams, it's suddenly difficult to repeat those experiences. You may not speak the language of the people around you and can't just adjust to their culture and needs. It's frustrating not being able to get the attention of a potential partner and settle down in a relationship. But learning a new language is harder as you get older and takes much longer than when you were in school back then, when everything was so easy and carefree. If you then want a young wild chick who wants to lead a modern life, it often fails. You're hoping for a better quality of life and a chance to enjoy the remaining years of your life. But you overlook the fact that as you age, you become less flexible and adaptable than younger people. You've lived a certain way for decades, and it can be difficult to change those habits and attitudes. You might find it challenging to adapt to new lifestyles and cultural norms. And most likely, you're also struggling with the physical ailments of aging. The stress of emigrating and adapting to new circumstances can weaken your immune system and lead to further health problems. And if you want to live off the beaten path in a rural area or on the beach, you may have difficulty finding adequate medical care. Coming to the last reason why men go broke, because are you a people pleaser? Then you don't have to wonder why life is tough for you. Because if you're too easygoing and don't have the courage to say no or end things, how will you avoid unpleasant situations? Are you one of those people who always agree and don't have a clear stance? And do you want to emigrate because of that? Why do you think it's better somewhere else in the world? Those who don't take the time to really get to know a partner and instead think that their money is enough to find a great woman, that doesn't work. And no is a magical word that can save you a lot of trouble. Even though it sounds harsh, if you're a yes man in the Philippines or in Asia and also gullible, there's a great chance you will go broke. You always have to keep in mind that in over 90% of cases, women are not with you because you're their dream man or prince they've been waiting for forever, but because you have a filled wallet. You will find all around the world that there's a certain kind of love when you provide financial security to a woman. She may even love you in some way because you take care of her and often her family too. But if you constantly say yes to everything out of fear of losing your girlfriend, her demands will only get bigger over time. Then the water buffalo that plowed the field dies, or someone in the family becomes seriously ill and the hospital bill needs to be paid. And if you have a girlfriend with children in Asia, it's clear who will be taking care of the family. And if the children were accepted from the beginning, why not other family members? And mother, aunt, or one of the many cousins can also help as a maid in your house, for a fee of course. If you're not willing to say no and instead say yes and amen to everything, it will quickly become very expensive. So if you never learn to say no in your life, don't be surprised that you're unhappy. And moving to another country isn't going to solve that problem either. So you now ask, how can you successfully emigrate without failing? If you want to emigrate and be happy in another country, you need a solid plan. And also a plan B in case you fail, because you can never be too cautious. The plan should not only include health insurance and a monthly budget, but you should also have some experience. You should have traveled to the country of your dreams a few times, ideally to different countries to gain more experiences and impressions. Not just for a short vacation, but also for a trial period of at least 3 to 6 months. During that time, you should explore every corner of the country, especially the ones off the beaten path. Additionally, you should be financially secure. It's recommended to have additional sources of income, such as online work, dividends, leasing or renting, because savings invested in the right way sometimes turn out to be invested the wrong way overnight, and then it's too late. It's also important to have a structured daily routine and to engage in an activity or hobby, such as sports, that brings you joy and especially allows you to make friendships in the foreign country. And if you manage to generate additional income from it, even better. It's also advisable to plan activities where you as a man can meet women who have a normal life with a regular job. Of course, it's also possible to have a relationship with a bar girl or private masseuse with a happy ending, but let's be honest, that's rather rare. Therefore, it's recommended to get to know women who have a regular job. And if you're wondering how to do that, well, you can check out my next video, how to meet women. Ha, just kidding. But there are plenty of ways to meet women in the Philippines. People here speak English, so there are hardly any communication problems. One option is to find someone at the food court, like the girl behind the counter who serves you. If you see her often, just invite her on a date and try to get to know her by going out together more often. It's advisable not to jump into bed right away, like with other ladies or acquaintances, but to get to know each other first, for example, by going to the movies or something like that. You should also avoid talking about money in the beginning. And above all, don't make the mistake of carrying your sweetheart on your hands and spoiling her, or you'll be trapped in the spiral of spending money again. One way is to ride a jeepney or bus to get to the restaurant. Don't take a taxi. Eat at the street food stalls or food court instead of going to fancy restaurants. This way your future girlfriend will know that you're not throwing money around, and she'll leave if she's a gold digger. And even if you've been together for a while, it's better not to reveal how much money you have. Just say how much you have available per month, like in a job with a monthly salary payment, and how much you're willing to spend. Ask her if she's okay with that, and if so, stay together. And earlier I mentioned how important the word no is. You'll notice that a woman will also be happy if you're willing to compromise. She learns to lower her expectations, especially when it comes to her family or other things. Like I said, if she's not serious about you, she'll leave you on her own. But it's also important to understand that there are cultural differences, especially when it comes to supporting the family. Occasionally, giving small gifts or providing financial support will help calm your girlfriend and show her that you're not just taking care of her. It's important that both of you respect your obligations and show that you're both responsible partners. And I hope this video again gave you insights. And if you liked my video, then I'm happy if you leave a like for me here, or maybe consider a channel membership to support my doings here. We see again in the coming videos. Bye bye for then from Cebu.